Starting a clothing brand from scratch is a lot to digest. This is why I'm taking the process in-house. This is episode 1 of starting a clothing brand. What's up, guys? My name is Merrick. I'm a photographer, filmmaker, and now a designer. Today marks a new start for me, and I'm super excited to share the process with you guys. So let's dive right into it. This is something that I've wanted to do for a long time now, but wasn't really sure where to start. Over time, I just got tired of the excuses, and I told myself you just got to do it. And that just kind of became the new motto. Now, when it comes to starting a clothing brand, there's a lot that goes into it. But personally, I like to think of things in production terms. So with that being said, there's going to be a pre-production stage, a production stage, and then a post-production stage. So that way it kind of breaks things apart and gives you one thing to focus on at a time. So that way you're not overwhelmed with the amount of work that you've got to do. So just taking things one step at a time can kind of help you in the process of things. But when it comes to a clothing brand, it's a whole different ballgame. So with that being said, in the pre-production stage, there's going to be everything from conceptualizing to designing to figuring out what garments you want to use, your wholesaler, how you want to your fit to lay. There's going to be a lot that goes into the pre-production stage. So focus on that first and foremost. And then once you get everything dialed in from there, in the production stage, that's going to consist of everything that you have done in your pre-production and apply that to the production stage. So you've got your garments at this point, you've got your design, you've got all the equipment that you're going to need. Make sure you have everything you're going to need beforehand because you don't want any minor hiccups along the road. And then from there, you can start producing your garments. You go into the post-production stage, and that's going to consist of everything from like checking your garments, making sure your tags and labels are on there and everything's done right, and then just packaging. So when I first had the idea of starting a clothing brand, I told myself I do photography, I do videography, so I could easily do all the photographs, I can film, I can make the content, I can do a lot of these steps in the process of the overall thing. And so what I wasn't anticipating is the amount of work that actually goes into this. Like it's insane. It's a lot more than I anticipated, that's for sure. But here we are, and it's too late to turn back now. At first, I thought I wanted to outsource the whole screen printing process to a local screen printer or even a wholesaler and just send my design file over and have them print it for me. But over time, I ultimately decided that I wanted to kind of be in on that process as kind of like a quality control guy. Just to ensure that everything that was being made, if it's going to have my name on it, I want it to be at the highest quality possible to ensure that I'm sending out the best garments that I possibly can. And I just want to say that I don't think that somebody else couldn't do it. It's just that I'm a firm believer that you can't expect somebody else to have the same passion and put in the same effort for your brand as you do. So with that being said, I just wanted to kind of take the process in-house just to kind of ensure that everything was going to go out at the highest quality possible. Another thing was that a lot of places have a minimum order quantity of like 50 or 100 or even more than that. And the idea of spending that much money on something that you weren't sure if it was going to flop or not was just not so appealing. So for me personally, the idea of taking pre-orders and being able to print on demand was a lot more of a viable solution for me. That way I'm not sitting on a ton of inventory. I can just have blanks on the side, and if an order comes in, I can just print it right then and there, and I'd be fine with that, at least starting out. With all this being said, let's jump right into everything you'll need to get up and running. All right, guys, so now we're going to go over some of the supplies you'll need to kind of get your brand up and running. Starting off with the ink. So I've got the TexSource Plastisol ink. I've got a white ink and a black ink. And then we've also got a spatula. Other than that, we've got a little bit of tape. This is to tape off the edges of your screen because you don't want any ink kind of bleeding through that screen whenever you're printing, because that would just be a nightmare. Because what if it's just a great design and then you've got ink just seeping through places? So this was definitely a must. I've got some Plastisol on press cleaner. This is from Easyway Systems. This is pretty much just to clean your screen off. So you put this in like a little spray bottle. After you're done printing, just kind of spray your screen down, get a soft cloth or something, and just kind of rub it down to clean it up. I've also got some of the adhesive. This is a screen printing adhesive, and from my knowledge, what you use this for is you just pretty much just spray your platen, and it gives your platen something to kind of like stick your shirt or your fabric on, so that way it's not like sliding around everywhere. Kind of helps it hold it in place. I was told that this works great, but I've also heard mixed reviews where it can get really messy over time. It just kind of builds up. So I think I'm going to use this for now, but I think I'll be definitely moving on to I guess there's this like a double-sided adhesive that you can put on your platen that I think would be more viable in the long run, just for cleanup purposes. But anyways, I've also got a roll of paper. So you guys are probably thinking, why do you have a roll of paper and you're trying to start a clothing brand? Well, I was doing some deep thinking, and I was like, I don't want to order a ton of shirts and spend that much money on some shirts just to get started and having to practice on them. So I thought I'd just practice on some just blank paper. I've got some water-based inks somewhere around here that I think would be great to practice with on paper. But besides this, I've also got some poster boards just to kind of test out different kinds of materials. Got a poster board, some like canvas paper. That's the regular paper. And I mean, these supplies are optional, guys. These are just kind of like a fail-safe for me personally. X-Acto knife, ruler, and a cutting mat just for cutting the rolls of paper into the size of the platen, so that way I can kind of practice with that. But to go even further than just practicing on paper, I thought I would grab some sheets from Target. So these are super inexpensive sheets. This is a twin sheet, and I am pretty sure this is made out of 100% polyester. So I think I'm gonna practice with some of the plastisol ink, black on white, just to see how the ink takes, or how the polyester takes the plastisol ink, because I think it'd just be a cool experiment to kind of like get to know the ropes and kind of see how things work beforehand before you actually start production. Anyways, I also got some pillowcases. They didn't have any sheets in black. And I'm gonna put the white ink on this and see how it takes it. This is a blend. This is a 50% cotton, 50% polyester. And I'm just, kind of curious to see how the blend takes the plastisol ink as well after it's cured. Moving on, we've got our screens. This is a 20 by 24 inch screen. This one still has some emulsion on it, but we'll be washing this out and using it for what we need to use it for. All right, and then we've also got a squeegee, and yep, this is a squeegee. It sure is. So this will fit perfectly in the 20 by 24 inch screens, and it should pull really nicely. I was looking these up, and these are pretty heavy duty squeegees. This one and a smaller one just for smaller pull. Anyways, moving on to the press itself. So this is a Riley Hopkins 2-platen 4-color printing press. And to be honest, guys, I was doing a lot of research. There's a ton of different printing presses you can get out there. You can go on Amazon and get them for as low as like $100, which, I mean, I almost did, to be honest with you, but I started doing a lot of research, and if I wanted to take this seriously, I thought I might as well go ahead and do it right the first time. Buy once, cry once, and let it be done with. So I got the Riley Hopkins 2-platen 4-color, which I think is going to be more than enough for what I'm doing right now, at least. So I'm only doing maybe 1 to 2 colors at most for now. These can get pretty pricey. And when I say expensive, like I'm talking like upwards of 10, 15 grand. But I was doing some research, and I found this one online, and it was a pretty penny. So I was about to pull the trigger, and right before doing that, I had the bright idea to get on Facebook Marketplace, because I was like, maybe I can find somebody that has one that doesn't use it anymore. And sure enough, I found somebody that had one that they were selling. They were in the screen printing business for a long time, and just kind of moved on to other things. Their business kind of went other directions, so they had no more use for this. And so they gave me a super good deal. They actually hooked me up with the printing press itself, all the supplies I just mentioned, the screens, about 25 screens. And I mean, it was well worth it. They gave me a really good deal. They gave me literally everything that I needed to get up and running for a fraction of the price of what the printing press cost by itself. So I think I got a really good deal on it. They ensured me everything worked, so I went through and made sure before I left and paid them and everything, so it was super nice. But last thing but not least, they also hooked me up with the flash dryer. So this is going to be used to cure the ink. So after you got your shirt down, you got your screen down, you do your pull, you want to cure your ink so that way it doesn't crack or it's not like any defects wrong with it. You want to cure it. So they gave me the flash dryer to go along with this, and pretty much all you do with this is you just pretty much put it over your garment after you've done your pull, and you let it cure. And so once it's done curing, the shirt should be good to go, and you should inspect it. Always inspect your shirts, make sure there's no defects, make sure there's no bubbles or any wrinkles in your pull, or make sure like if you're stretching it, it's not like ripping or coming apart. So that's another reason why I wanted to kind of do this process myself, was just to kind of make sure that there wasn't going to be anything wrong with the garments that I'm putting out. Like as long as like I'm making it, I know that when I'm sending it out to people, I don't want to get any returns. So I just kind of wanted to go through that process myself and see how it's done, so that way I know what to look for and what not to look for, and see how it worked in that way. I can ensure that I'm always sending out the highest quality that I possibly can. Well, there's actually one more thing that I do not have, and it is the emulsion. So the emulsion to make your screens and to get your design on the screen. I personally chose to outsource that part of the process. I actually have this guy down the road at Luminous Graphics. I just met him, and he was a super cool dude. He was giving me the rundown of the whole process. He was more than happy to help me burn some screens. He said it's not something he usually does. It's not something he's ever done, but he was like, hey, I don't mind helping out a fellow creative. And so he gave me a really good deal on that, and it was awesome. So he is going to be the guy that's going to be burning my screens, at least for right now. I personally chose to outsource that part of the process just because it just takes a whole bunch more equipment. Like you'll need a sink. You know those sinks that you see in garages? Like I call them like the art sinks. They've got paint all over them. Like everybody knows what they are. Anyways, it takes one of those. I mean, you don't have to have one. You can do it in your kitchen sink or your bathtub, depending on what kind of inks you're using and whatnot. But for the size of the screens that I'm using, it's just not really a viable solution for what I'm doing. But on top of that, you'll need a pressure washer, and I just didn't really have space for all of that here. I'm actually working in my kitchen, so this is my living room, and everything is going to be stationed over here in my kitchen. So I'm cleaning it out, and it's going to be like my studio space, and it's a mess right now. But I just didn't have enough room for everything. So, but anyways, guys, that wraps up everything that you'll need to get up and running for your clothing brand. I'm excited to share this journey with you guys. If you guys have any questions or anything at all, feel free to shoot me a message over on Instagram at Merrick Cole. I'm a little bit more active on there. Post a little bit more. You guys can keep up with me there. So yeah, shoot me a DM, a message, anything. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to reach out and ask. I'm here to document my whole process and kind of take you guys on this journey with me. Successes, failures, everything, no fluff. I want to give you guys everything for what it is and kind of show you everything that goes into starting a clothing brand. So with that being said, peace.